Long time ago, at the time of Satyuga, the four sons of Brahma, named as Sanak Sanandan Sanatan and Sanat Kumar, who, by the power of their Brahman effulgence, did not age beyond the age of 5 or 6. One day, they desired to directly meet Lord Vishnu at his supreme abode, Vaikunthalok, and then they began their journey towards Vaikunthalok. They had passed through 6 gates, and when they came to the seventh gate, they met two gatekeepers who were very handsome, beautifully decorated, and ornamented, Jay and Vijay. They stopped four Kumaras to go inside by saying Lord was taking rest. The four Kumaras requested the gatekeepers that they were very eager to see the Lord. The two gatekeepers, thinking them ordinary children and not to disturb the Lord, stopped them to enter. Four Kumaras became very angry because they were so eager to see the Lord, and they criticized the two gatekeepers, saying that their mentality was not suitable for Vaikuntha and therefore they should not remain in Vaikuntha. But it would be better for them to go immediately to the material world and take birth in a family of most sinful asuras, and four Kumaras cursed them. Now inside, Lord Narayan understood that there was some conflict at the gate and he personally came out. All of them paid their obeisances. The two gatekeepers, Jay and Vijay, bowed down at the lotus feet of the four Kumaras and expressed their regret for stopping them from going inside and accepted their curse willingly. But they asked for only one thing. That was, even when they would come into the material world, they didn't want to forget the Lord, and the Lord fulfilled their request. The four Kumaras themselves started to feel repentant for having cursed the gatekeepers, who were just trying to do their duty as per their estimation. Then Lord said to Jay and Vijay that you have two options. One is to take birth 7 times as my exalted devotees, or to take 3 times birth as my greatest enemy. Then they opted for the option of taking birth as the Lord's enemies, so that they won't have the pain of separation for a very long time. So, while four Kumaras were lamenting, the Lord said that this was actually all my plan. I only inspired them to stop your entry, and I only inspired you to curse them. This was all my arrangement, and the reason is that the Lord wanted to have someone to fight with him. In Vaikuntha, he can't fight with anyone because everyone in Vaikuntha is a devotee who is completely in tune with the desires of the Lord and in love with the Lord. And then, according to the curse, they took 3 times birth in the material world. First, they took birth as the two sons of Diti, Hiranyakashipu being the elder and Hiranyaksh the younger. They were very much respected by the Daityas and Danavas. Then secondly, they took birth as Ravana and Kumbhakaran. They were extremely troublesome to all the people of the universe. In their last birth, they took birth in a very exalted Kshatriya family related to Krishna's family. They came as the first cousins of Lord Krishna and were practically on an equal footing with him as Shishupal and Dantavakra. Today we are talking about the two brothers, Hiranyaksh, who was very powerful, and Hiranyakashipu, who was known to be very intelligent. Once upon a time, Hiranyaksh captured Mother Earth and took her to the bottom of Garbhodak ocean. Then, upon hearing the plea of Mother Earth, Lord Vishnu appeared as the boar named as Varadev and killed Hiranyaksh and delivered Mother Earth to its original position. On hearing of his brother's death, Hiranyakashipu got very angry and spoke to his associates. I shall therefore take Lord Vishnu's head from his trunk by my trident, and with the profuse blood from his body, I shall please my brother Hiranyaksh, who was so fond of blood. Thus, I too shall be peaceful. And to gain more powers and become immortal, he entered the valley of Mandar mountain and began practicing a severe type of austerity and meditation. Whereas on the other side, his wife Kayadhu was pregnant at that time, and the demigods headed by Indradev, mistakenly thinking that she carried another demon in her womb, captured her. Their plan was that as soon as the child took birth, they would kill him. While they were taking Kayatu to the heavenly planets, they met Narad Muni, who stopped them from taking her away and told them that the child within this woman's womb was faultless and sinless. Indeed, he would be a great devotee, a powerful servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the demigod circumambulated her. Narad Muni said to Mother Kayadhu, "My dear child, please remain at my ashram until the arrival of your husband." In Narad Muni's ashram, he gave her instructions on spiritual and transcendental knowledge. Because of the long duration of time that had passed, Mother Kayadhu forgot all those instructions. However, by the blessings of the great sage Narada, baby Prahlad didn't forget any of those instructions and teachings. While Hiranyakashipu was performing his austerities, Lord Brahma appeared and asked him what boon he wanted. Hiranyakashipu said, "Make me immortal." Brahmaji said, "I am myself not immortal. I cannot make you immortal. Ask for something else." So therefore Hiranyakashipu thought of the plan of indirectly becoming immortal. So he asked for so many boons that, "O my Lord, if you will kindly grant me the boons I desire, please let me not meet death from any of the living entities created by you. Grant me that I not die within any residence or outside any residence, during the daytime or at night, nor on the ground or in the sky. Grant me that my death not be brought by any being other than those created by you, nor by any weapon, nor by any human being or animal. I wish not to meet death from any entity, living or non-living." Lord Brahma blessed Hiranyakashipu with the boons he asked for and returned back to his abode. Thus Hiranyakashipu became the conqueror of the entire universe and came back to his palace. Around that time, Naraji brought Hiranyakashipu's wife Kayadhu and his son Prahlad to him. Hiranyakashipu became very happy. After some time, he called upon Shanda and Amarg, sons of his Guru Shukracharya, and asked them to teach his son Prahlad how to develop demoniac qualities and mentality. Prahlad was now 5 years old. One day, Hiranyakashipu was fondly remembering his son Prahlad, since he hadn't seen him for a very long time. When Prahlad came back, Hiranyakashipu affectionately took his son Prahlad on his lap and then inquired from him, "Son, what is the best thing you have learned from your teachers?" Prahlad Maharaj began praising the 9 process of devotional service and said, "Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padsevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam," which means one who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. After hearing these words of devotional service from the mouth of his son, Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry and pushed him away from his lap. He called his guru Shandanamarg and yelled at them, "O unqualified, most evil son of Brahmana, you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of the party of my enemies. You have taught this poor boy about devotional service. What is this nonsense?" They said in their defense, "We didn't teach him this." Hiranyakashipu asked them, "Then how did he learn this?" They said, "Maharaj, ask Prahlad only." Then he glared at Prahlad, and then Prahlad spoke. "Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way can one be freed from material contamination." And also he said, "Father, in fact you don't need to worry about becoming Krishna conscious because you are too proud. You will never bow down to anyone. So that's not the consideration." Hiranyakashipu said to Shandanamarg, "O demons, take this boy away from me and make him understand that Vishnu is not the Lord. His father, that is Hiranyakashipu, is the real Lord of the universe, as I have conquered it." Then the Daitya Gurus, Shanda and Amarg, took Prahlad back to the Gurukul And while the teachers were absent from the classroom, Prahlad Maharaj began to preach Krishna consciousness in the school, and by his instructions, all his class friends, the sons of the demons, became devotees like him. When Shand and Amarth came to know about this, they became very angry at him, but Prahlad was unaffected and kept chanting the Lord's name. Then Shand and Amarth called the evil ghost named Kritya and ordered her to kill Prahlad. But because of the mantra recitation and its power, that evil ghost returned back to the Daitya Gurus. By learning about this, Hiranyakashipu became very angry and tried to kill and torture his son Prahlad in many ways. Hiranyakashipu ordered to his servants to strike the tender parts of Prahlad Maharaj's body with their tridents, and they began striking Prahlad Maharaj, who sat silently, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord saved him from there. Then he tried to kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants. But Prahlad kept chanting the Lord's name. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The elephant took a back step and Prahlad was saved. Then he tried to kill his son by throwing him in a cave of huge fearful snakes. But because of the meditation of the Lord's name, they didn't harm him. He asked his servants to throw him in a pot of burning oil. But as soon as Prahlad touched it, the oil became cool and lotus flowers blossomed. Now Hiranyakashipu tried to throw him with great force from the top of a hill. As Prahlad was in meditation on Lord and his names, Lord came himself to save him. Prahlad remained untouched. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlad, who was completely sinless, he was in great anxiety about what to do next. At that time, his sister Holika was there in the kingdom, and she appeared in front of him and asked her brother why was he anxious. Then he told her about all that had happened since then. Then Holika assured his brother not to worry because she had a magical blanket which she got from Lord Brahma, with the help of which she couldn't be burned. And she said to Hiranyakashipu that she will take Prahlad into the fire, and with her he will not be able to escape from it. Now a huge pyre was set for the funeral of Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj, as usual, was indulged in the worship of Lord Vishnu and chanting his holy names. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then the sound of scream and shout came, and Holika was burned, but Prahlad was saved. The Lord knows how to deal with the demons and how to protect a devotee in all conditions. On hearing about his sister's demise, Hiranyakashipu became very angry and called Prahlad. He said, "You are trying to minimize my value? As if you are better than me at controlling the senses. This is over-intelligence." Prahlad said, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is present everywhere and in everything." Hiranyakashipu yelling on him, "Is he present in this pillar too?" Prahlad said, "Yes, he is there." Then Hiranyakashipu said, "Now let me see how your most worshipable god come to protect you. I want to see it." Cursing him again and again, Hiranyakashipu took up his club, got up from the royal throne, and with great anger struck his fist against the pillar. Then, from within the pillar came a fearful sound, which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful thundering sound, which had never been heard before. Lord Narsimhadev captured Hiranyakashipu, who could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of King Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here, there, and all around, very much troubled at being captured, Lord Narsimhadev placed the demon on his lap. supporting him with his thighs, and in the doorway of the assembly hall, the Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hand. Lord Narasimhadev's mouth and mane were sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narasimhadev, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from the Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, resembled a lion that has just killed an elephant. The demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not come forward before the Lord, who at that time was extremely angry. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmiji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him. Therefore, Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj, who was standing near to him, "My dear son, Lord Narasimhadev is extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and pacify the Lord." When Lord Narasimhadev saw the small boy, Prahlad Maharaj, lying at the soles of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Raising Prahlad, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon boy's head, started licking him affectionately as a lion licks his cubs. Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon Lord Narasimhadev with full attention, in complete trance. With a fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with a flattering voice, and all the demigods began showering flowers at Lord Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee, for the Lord does not need service from anyone. One who worships Lord and meditates and chants his name with full devotion, Lord comes in every situation to protect him. नरसिम्हदेव भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रहलाद की जय।